Alright guys, I know it's been a while. Finally getting back in the saddle and making another video. Been busy with work and this weather. I know it looks pretty today if you can see it in the camera, but it ain't been like that. It's been raining non-stop. So this is probably going to be a long video, so I'm not going to babble too much. I have a new present from Dirtlegal. I teased it a little bit on my YouTube channel. Some of you guessed it right. I wish I had your names. I'd give you a shout out, but I really can't grab that too easy. Anyway, it's a snorkel kit. You're gonna see the rest of it in this video. You'll see it fully unboxed and everything, but this is all I could really get to. This is a little flex hose going from my breather to the actual snorkel, but it's gonna require drilling. Let's see if I can get this back in there. I got me some painter's tape. I got me my drill with a 3.5 inch hole saw. I've never used one of these. I know how they work. I just never used one. So we'll be boring in about like right here, somewhere-ish. They did send me a mock-up. Let me see. Like a, what do you call that, a template? See? Packaging was really nice, and since then he said that they're packaged them even better than what they sent us, so I was really impressed with how it was. I'm going to be cutting around right here on these dotted lines. I don't know if you can see it. And then kind of placing it right here. You know, it'll sit on the curvature of the fender, and that'll make it easy, and I'll just bore right through right here. The only thing I haven't done is cut this and find me a 2764 drill bit. So let me get that stuff finished, cut this out, then we'll start. Okay, before I get completely started, I just want to point out it does require a 7/16 or a 2764 bit. Apparently that's an uncommon size, so the closest I can get is in between I can get a 1/2 inch across the road at my dad's. I even checked his shop. He's got a 1/2 inch and 3/8. 3/8 is as big as I got and the closest I got, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bore out what I can, and then I'm going to hit it with this unibit right here until it's big enough for the little pieces to go in. So I guess I'll get to that when it, you know, come to it, but I just want to let you guys know ahead of time what was going on. The first thing, I got my instructions. I don't know if you can see on camera. I got my instructions laid up over there. You got a 13 millimeter socket right here on your air box. I thought that was almost out. There we go. And there everything else goes. I'm going to catch back up with you. I don't want to make this video too long. I'm going to find that washer that just dropped, and then it says to get these other clamps around here. So I think it's talking about these. So I'll catch up to you then. Alright, so I want to show you this real quick. This is very important. The instructions. Okay, so I need to really see if you can see this. Okay, this lifts up, this little grommet. When you take it out of there, this should stay if you took it out like I did. I siliconed underneath there in between this and the grommet, and then on top right there too. And the instructions specifically say use a gratuitous amount. You know, don't be stingy with it, because imagine if you lost your engine underwater just because you didn't put enough. I mean, they give you a whole big thing of silicone here, some black silicone. So don't be stingy with it. This is now going to go back up into the breather right there, and it says orient it towards the rear, so it's going to sit just like this. So I'm going to put this in, and then I got this other grommet deal, and I'm going to put it on, silicone it, and then tighten the nut down on it. Okay, so got a little update on that piece there. You can see I silicone the crap out of it, and you tighten this down just by hand. You're not going to be, you know, snugging up on it with a big crescent wrench or something. You can break that plastic really easy. It actually says that in the instructions. So basically every layer, I did it on the bottom, and then even, I know it's going to be a pain if I ever take that off probably, but it'll be alright. Taking that nut off, I put a little bit at the base, so when it snugged down, it kind of sealed it up in there. It says wipe away any excess in here. So I took and kind of swabbed the inside of this right here, but I'm leaving, I don't know if you can tell, all that goop on. That shouldn't affect anything in there. I'm leaving all that caked up. I'm not going to mess with it. It's already starting to kind of dry a little bit, and the more the better in there, unless I find out I need to do something else with it. But I'm going to leave that globbed up stuff in there for now. Okay, so this part's important on sealing this off. The instructions, whenever it tells you, it just says to put silicone in this little weep hole that's right here. I mean, it's a tiny, tiny hole, and they gave you one screw for this. It's a machine screw, and you're supposed to fill that up with silicone and then put the screw in there. And this is another thing, you don't sit there and just tighten. All this is doing is just snugging it up and allowing that silicone to seal to that and seal off your hole. Now this right here, in the instructions, this is just left, you know, untouched or whatever, and it kind of concerned me, so I just called the guys with Dirtlegal, and they explained to me what this is. It's a check valve, and it's supposed to sit in your Roxor just like this. If anything got in there, water or whatever, you know, that material is heavier than air, so it would just push it out. But it's a one-way valve, you know, like while the system's running, it's sucking on that, right? It's keeping suction on this little, all it is a thin little strip of rubber, and as long as there's suction or just sitting there like that, it's supposed to, you know, seal off good. That hole, you might be concerned with that. It goes nowhere. It does nothing in there. I'll never be able to get you a good shot of it, but all that stuff's down in there. There's no hole on the outside end of it. He said go ahead and seal it off if it makes you feel better, but he would rather his stay like that just in case, you know, some water does get in it, it rains somehow in your snorkel, it'll leak out right there, you know. So I just feel better about it like this. Mine doesn't set out in the weather too much, and in these slim chance that it rains while I'm riding or something like that, then after the ride or during the ride, I'll just take this box off and drain it if I need to. So I just want to let you guys know that's what's up with that. I just put a thin layer, that way maybe, hopefully, if I ever had to switch that out or do anything with it, it's not, you know, crazy tight or globbed up on there, but it's a thin little seal just to make myself feel better. So I'm gonna move on to the next step. Alright, this is the next update. It's been probably about 30 minutes, and yes, I am sweating, but most of this is just water I dumped on my head, so don't think I'm just that miserable out here, even though it is hot. Alright, so I don't think the instructions even said to take the air box out. Once again, let me get behind the camera so I can see what I'm showing you. Alright, so you have a coupler piece that goes on your air box. You silicone it, that goes on there, and then you got this flex hose that goes over top of that. Well, that was a pain because it was so tight. I mean, you can't complain about it because that's what you want when you're dealing with water, you know, trying to keep it away from your engine, but my whole air box and everything's all nasty with silicone. My hands got all over, but I finally got it on there. With it sitting in the engine bay, I couldn't do enough. I would get it over, and then it would, like, the back part wouldn't seal off. So I took the sucker off and went to the back of the Roxor and kind of bowed up on it with two hands. See, I got a pretty good seal, and then I tightened it down with the hose clamp. So meanwhile, while you're messing with all that, make sure you don't hit this fitting here, because that's not even dried all the way yet. So anyway, that's my quick update. I got to set this back in there, and probably going to go ahead and leave that where it connects to this air line down to your turbo. Probably going to go ahead and leave that kind of off until we come along a little bit further. But anyway, that's its update now for now. So I'll catch you with the next one. All right, I've been sitting here staring at this thing. It hurts me. Oh, it hurts me to know what I'm about to do to this thing. So you guys just get to cringe and go about your merry days and enjoy this. I'm sitting over here. Oh, well, I don't know if I'm about to go ahead and jump into it, or if I'll clip to the part where I'm drilling into it. I might look over this just a bit more, but I think that's about as good as I can get it. I mean, I don't know. Yep, I think so. So, I guess I'm about to go. Alright, boys and girls, there's a fresh hole in the WOODRAT. So I think you're supposed to have a bigger drill, pretty sure. That one did it. I know it hates me after the fact, but it did it. I just need to kind of file around there. I already pieced the snorkel in it to make sure it'll go, and it fits plenty fine. So I'm going to get some black paint and just kind of spray it around there and touch it up. I still need to drill these. I'm probably going to do that first, actually, so that I can just hit it all with paint all together. So let me do that, and then I'll get back with you. Alright, there you have it. Get a quick look. You can't really tell I had any runoff right there, but it's not perfect, but it's going to be covered up by the snorkel anyway. So, I mean, I already cut the hole in the thing, so, I mean, it is what it is now at this point. I'm just hoping that these top and bottom holes are lined up perfect. I'm not sure exactly. I can't tell in the directions, but I think this is how it's going to go. I'm going to slide these studs through there and then just slap these nylon washers on the back of it. So while the paint's drying on that, I just threw a little random paint I had in the garage on it. I'm going to be taking this bracket and trying to find the mounting spot up here for it, so I can go ahead and be tackling that while the paint's drying a little bit longer. Okay, another thing I felt necessary, I felt it was necessary to tell you, is these instructions, they tell you what to do, but it's kind of like you got to just put it up there before you actually realize which way they mean to do it. And they say put painter's tape up here to keep you from scratching your roll bar. You can see I was getting like livid furious because I couldn't get that bracket on there. There's a reason why they say put it up here at the bend, and it's because this is the smallest point on this roll bar. So you have to clamp this clamp by hand, and I was trying to do it down here, and there's no way that a human can do that. I mean, I don't see any way of it, at least one person anyways. So I put it up there, and immediately the first time I squeezed that, it went right on there, and I threaded that nut on the back. So I'm to the point now where it's telling you how to orient this and everything. It's telling you to put this out, and from what I'm, they say to do it exactly like this. So I haven't seen where that's important yet, but I'm sure it's coming. basically like this can't be undone once it gets to a certain point, so I guess you need to have access to this Allen head over here. But I wish this camera would focus. The mount, I'm thinking that tab over there is going to lay up right against this, so this is going to be positioned kind of more to the front of the Roxor. It's hard to do with just one hand, but anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to slide that down there, and then that's where that's going to mount to, I would assume. So let me get to the next step. I'm still letting the paint dry. We're going to keep on rolling. Alright, fellas, we're almost done, I believe. I did scuff up that. It's a lot easier if you just take your time, and I'm going to help you a little bit because, I don't know, you might can read instructions better than me. The instructions are clear, but it's like I said before, it's something you don't really realize until it comes down to it. So put it on up here because it's skinnier up here, slide it down. Once you get it right here, you can kind of bust that loose. If you don't take that nut off the back there, you're gonna have trouble getting this down, but it'll hold. You don't have to worry about my nut shot across over there and hit my hood, but the bolt stayed intact over here, so I just slid it down and put the nut back on it. And then you're supposed to go in this order to make sure there's no tension in anything. You tighten this to the roll bar, then this, and then this right here on your snorkel. And you can't see really. I'm trying to show you. Look, this thing, I'll get a better picture of it later. Okay, so there's two of those studs from earlier, if you remember, that went through there. I tightened those up. All I have is this little setup right here. I got a longer longer socket, and just an extension. You could use an extended socket, like a longer socket on this. It would probably help a little bit more, but this right here allowed me to fish down in there and tighten both of those up, top and bottom. So I'm to the point now where I'm putting this snorkel horn on. Had to loosen it up first. Might not be loose enough still. There it goes. Okay, I thought that was going to sit higher than what it is. I'm really glad that it's not, because I was kind of concerned about that. And I'm going to tighten it up over here on this side and keep that bolt, you know, just make it look a little bit better. And this isn't, you know, like airtight. We're not siliconing this. This is just strictly to keep rain and stuff from falling straight down in it. So that looks sick. I know you guys can't see it yet. Don't worry, I'll zoom out in just a little bit. Let me get to the next step. I think we'll be finishing up somewhere along in the engine bay, and then we'll get some final thoughts. Alright people, here it is. Besides slipping this back on here, I think that could be a little bit tighter. I'm gonna silicone that up before I say this is finished, but it's pretty much finished. I got the air filter back in here. Something I want to say about this, there's like a foam kind of gasket on the inside of here. Now I'm going to double check with Dirtlegal, but I don't think they did anything to modify this. I wouldn't imagine you want to silicone that because it'd be hard to open every time you want to change your air filter, but I don't know. I'm going to check with them, see. They said that they had no water, no dirt, no debris or nothing whenever they was swamping with theirs, and I don't think they did any modifications to this, but I'm going to check just to make sure. Don't tighten this down too much. I wouldn't think you would want to, because I think it'll like kind of warp this, and that'll create, you know, like not a good seal around here. I would imagine. That's just my advice. So There's one fitting right there. Since I last updated you, I put the this thing's on the tripod, it's too high. Okay. Can you see those bolts right in here? There's one right there and one right there. That is your to connect your flex hose, to have it kind of up out of the way. You got these little bands that you put on there and you just come through. That's secured. I'm about to clean this up a little bit, and like I said, silicone that. Then we'll back off and close the hood and show you guys what this looks like with the snorkel on it and everything. So we'll do the first startup. All right, there she is. Let's see. I think this thing might be zoomed in. Let me zoom back out. Alright. See what you think. I think it looks mean. I'll take some more pictures. You'll probably be seeing it on Facebook and Instagram and stuff pretty soon. But I think it went as well as it could have. 2 people definitely would help out. For sure. I'm gonna crank it up now and let you guys hear. Not that it matters that much, but you can hear it soaking in through there. Definitely feel it. The only thing is, there's something under there rattling. I don't know if you guys can hear me that close to it. It's that hose. That hose is rattling against that fender, so I'm going to find some way to kind of tie that down. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. I hope you learned something, or maybe if you had any questions on the instructions, maybe I can help answer them. I'm on Facebook all the time on those Roxor sites. If you need help, you can message me or get with Dirtlegal. And thanks to them for sending me this kit and for creating it. I don't know of any other kit on the market yet, specifically for this. I'm sure any Joe Blow can go buy a heat kit and somehow make it work for themselves. But there is some stuff, and the instructions are nice, so